All right, quiz 6, solutions for Math 95. This first problem, we're given four, expressions, I guess, and asked to simplify them. In other words, say what number this thing is equal to. And one way to do that is 16 to the 3/4. There's two different ways you can look at it. Probably the easiest way is it's the fourth root of 16 cubed. And the fourth root of 16 is just asking you what number times itself 4 times gives you 16. And the answer to that question is 2. 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 is 16. So this is just 2 cubed, and 2 cubed is 8. 27 to the negative 2/3. One way you could rewrite that is negative exponent just means 1 over. So this is 1 over 27 to the positive 2/3. And 27 to the 2/3, one way to write that is it's the cubed root of 27 squared. So what I get is 1 divided by, the cubed root of 27 is 3, because 3 times 3 times 3 is 27. So it's 1 over 3 squared, which is 1/9. All right, negative 8 to the 4/3 power. One way to write that would be, it is the cubed root of negative 8 raised up to the 4th power. Cubed root of negative 8 is negative 2, because negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2 is negative 8. And negative 2 to the 4th power is positive 16. Negative 2 times negative 2 is positive 4, times negative 2 is negative 8, times negative 2 is positive 16. And then this last one here, negative 4 raised up to the 3/2 power. This is undefined. See, I guess one way to write that is, this is the square root of negative 4 cubed. But square root of negative 4, no, that's not true. Man, I almost messed myself up here. There's no parentheses here. This is just the negative of 4 to the 3/2 power. So 4 to the 3/2 power I can write as the square root of 4 cubed. My Warriors just took the lead. And I can take the square root of positive 4. The square root of positive 4 is just 2. So this is the negative of 2 cubed, which is negative 8. So part D, we get negative 8, not undefined. Note if there are parentheses around the negative 4, then it would be undefined. I don't know if you can hear the game in the background, but pretty exciting Warriors game going on right now. Shows how dedicated I am. Doing work when I should be watching a basketball game. Okay, number 2 asks you to evaluate these 3 guys. Express your answers in both exponent and radical form. So I think the easiest way to deal with these is when they're in exponent form. So the square root of x, that's the same as x to the 1/2 power. And the 4th root of x is x to the 1/4 power. And using our exponent rules, when you're multiplying exponents and you have the same base, you add up the number that's up in the exponent. So this is x to the 1/2 plus 1/4. To add up these two fractions, we'd say this one's 2/4 and this one's 1/4. And 2/4 and 1/4 is 3/4. So I get x to the 3/4 power. But since I'm supposed to write my answer in exponent form and radical form, if I write this in radical form, it looks something like it's the 4th root of x cubed. That'd be one way to write it. You could also say it's the 4th root of x cubed. Either way is correct. Okay, same idea down here, maybe except a little bit faster. This is x to the 1/2 times x to the negative 1/4. Negative because it's down in the exponent, or in the denominator. So x to the 1/2 minus 1/4. This is 2/4 minus 1/4. 2/4 minus 1/4 is just 1/4. So it's x to the 1/4 power, or the 4th root of x. And then over here, this is saying what is the, maybe I'll need some parentheses here. It's x raised up to the 1/5 power, raised up to the 1/3 power, because it's the 5th root of x, and then the cubed root of that. And we have an exponent rule that says when you're raising an exponent to another exponent, you multiply those numbers together. So this is x to the 1/5 times 1/3. And when you're multiplying fractions, you just multiply straight across. So this is x to the 1/15th power. Another way I could write that is it's the 15th root of x. Wow. Steph Curry's very good. So that's number 2. Here's our answers in both exponent and radical form. So finally I'll move on to number 3 here, and then I'll watch my game like I should be doing. We want to simplify the following radicals by removing as much stuff as possible. So the way I think I would do this is I would first note that 16 is 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. You don't have to find this prime factorization of 16, but for me it's easier because then I can say, all right, this question is really just asking me what's the square root of 2 to the 4th times x to the 4th times y cubed. When you have them all like exponents in exponent form like this, it's a little bit easier to see what goes on what I call the good side and what goes on the bad side. Under the good radical, since these are square root signs, we need pairs. So I have 4 of these 2's. 2 of them would be a pair, and then the other 2 are also a pair, so I can put all 4 of them over here. I have 4 of these x's, so I can put all 4 of them here. But I only have 3 of these y's, so I can put 2 of them here, but I'm left with 1 over here. The square root of 2 to the 4th is 2 squared. The square root of x to the 4th is x squared. The square root of y squared is just y. So what I'm left with for my final answer is 2 squared, which is 4, x squared y, times the square root of y. And finally, this guy, okay, I'll write it again. Maybe let's go down here. So it's a lot like part A, same thing under the radical, except now it's the cubed root. So it's 2 to the 4th power, x to the 4th power, y cubed. Can break that one radical up into 2 different radicals, except now they're not square roots, they're cubed roots. So I have 4 of these 2's. I need kind of triplets to put them on the good side. So I have 4 of these 2's. I'll put 3 of them over here, because it's cubed root, and I'm left with 1 over here. I have 4 of these x's, so I'll put 3 of them over here, and I'm left with 1 over here. I only have 3 y's, so I put all 3 over here, nothing over here. And the cubed root of 2 cubed, it's just 2. Cubed root of x cubed, it's just x. Cubed root of y cubed is just y. So my final answer, so let me write this a little bit neater. I don't know if that's any neater. Is 2xy times the cubed root of 2x. So that is the end of this perfect problem or quiz or whatever this was. I'm going to get back to my basketball game.